Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready.
Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great night. We're here for the 7th edition of the Alpha X series. I'm your caster Snoopy, and joined by my side is Rushi.
Hello. How's everyone doing tonight?
We got ourselves a lovely TvP here. It's going to be between TY versus Zoun. Of course, this is a best of 9. So first player to 5 wins will win the series. So we should have ourselves a good amount of high level games here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. A good TvP between two very strong players. I think it's going to be a great setup as well as it starts leading us towards our full-on GSL season and getting us ready for circuit season as well. It's going to be, I think it should be a good matchup all the way around.
Yeah. All right. Are you in the? I don't see you in the chat. Which name are you?
Rushy, I believe. I mean, I'm sitting here. Looks like Mage and Zoun are in game. I am not.
It's Alpha X without the space between the Alpha and the X.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see that. Hello.
All right. Let me go ahead and add you. Wait, are you in the chat?
There I am. I'm right above your name in the lobby link.
All right. Cool. Let me go ahead and invite you to the game. Anyhow, looks like we got. Oh wow, we already have 103 viewers tuned in. Anyhow, we have a. Our first map will be on Internal Empire LE. So this is going to be one of the familiar maps, one of the maps that was from last season. So both players should be in tune with it.
Yeah, I definitely like all of the maps that we have in this pool for this season. I'm sure we're going to get a chance to talk about that at some point, but I think we've got plenty of time here. As you mentioned, this is a best of 9. Gets us a chance to see maybe most of these maps. These two players are well matched against each other. We might get to see all 7 maps in this pool, and maybe we'll get to even go to a game number 9. Who knows?
Yeah, that would be dope. All right, looks like both players are ready. Once the other casters are ready, they shall start the countdown. By the way, guys, we do have a Match Arena page for this event. As you can see in the Nightbot in the chat, there's the Match Arena link. You can go in there and type in the code AXCOM65, and that will add 50 cents for free to the overall prize pool. And here we go. All right, TvP. I know you're a Zerg player, but I'm sure you enjoy yourself some TvP.
Oh, you know, I enjoy casting all of the matchups. I will miss being able to see bugs running around the map here, but I think I'll manage.
All right, why don't you go ahead and do the honors and introduce our first player?
Oh, sounds great. Spawning in the bottom or the top right, I guess. We jumped. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, our blue parent player. Give it up for TY.
And spawning at the bottom left, we have ourselves the red Protoss player from Team Alpha X. It is Zoun.
All right, so we are jumping into Eternal Empire here for map number 1. I'd mentioned that the map pool for this season is just a little bit different this time around. Snoopy, have you had a chance to experience all the maps in this current season?
I haven't experienced it too much on myself, but I have seen a few games on it, and I definitely have to agree. There's a lot of quirky new maps that has been added to this season of the ladder.
Well, I know it's kind of a contentious topic between lots of different players in the scene. A lot of the professionals like having that straightforward, oh, this is very clearly a 1v1 map where things are not weird or crazy, can provide for a lot more consistent gameplay. It's a lot easier to practice, prepare for. But I think I'd call myself a casual player, if you will. I'm not a professional by any stretch, but I think as a casual player, I enjoy seeing some of the variety and interesting ways that we can create different maps in the StarCraft 2 map creator. One of the great community projects in the Team Liquid map building contest always brings out the best in people's creativity, and I think that this is a great step, especially in 2020, as we're looking to try and find more and more ways to revitalize StarCraft 2 and the StarCraft 2 scene. I think this is a great way to start, and I really like the maps that we're seeing. I think it's got a nice balance of some straightforward professional-like maps, but a few maps in there that are a little quirky and provide a little extra insight to what can be done.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely agree. I mean, you gotta kind of change it up, keep it fresh. I mean, if you play on the same map over and over again, it gets stale at a certain point. The meta is like all figured out. So it's also awesome. Oh, actually, hold that thought. We do have SCV building an armory at the right in front of the probe. Oh, he just sees it. Oh man, there was some cheeky play coming from TY, but in the meantime, we do see the Adept and actually gets in.
Yeah, that Adept is going to get a scout off into the main base. Is going to see the armory actually being built in the back of the main. So unfortunately, TY trying his hardest to hide that, does get it scouted. So that Adept, well paid for in this case, is going to move Zoun into a blink timing here. So blink on the way as well for Zoun.
Yeah, what do you think this fast armory is for?
I'm imagining it's probably going to lead into battle cruisers, would be my guess. So I think, don't you need battle cruisers or an armory to build that fusion core?
I don't actually remember.
Looks like it's gonna be drilling claws.
Yeah. I believe.
Okay.
I think you just need a start. Yeah, you need just a starport to build a fusion core. So I was like wondering what is this army for? Maybe some fast doors. Some you don't usually see that, but Oh, we do.
Well, so drilling claws, I don't mind. I think that's a great strategy. A lot of Protoss right now are using resonating glaive adepts to just overwhelm their opponents at the 8-9 minute mark of the game. But with Zoun going into blink stalkers, I don't think this is going to work as well as he hoped. Most stalkers are going to be able to blink right out of the way of incoming mines. About the only thing that's going to really enhance this is the ability to keep those mines hidden even after they fire.
Yeah, and looks like we do have ourselves a third base coming from the Protoss. Blink is just about done. And it looks like the Widow Mine drop is commencing. And it's going to be up to Zoun to respond to this, because with the drilling call, the Widow Mines do burrow a lot quicker. So the response time, the reaction has to be on point, or he'll be losing a bunch of probes.
Well, this first drop is going to be incoming. The observer is not going to see this drop in, so it's not going to be until it gets there to the line. Probes immediately pulled, but with drilling claws, it is going to be a quick burrow. 10 probes do go down, but I believe the Blink Stalkers are going to be able to pick that up on the way out. And here comes the main force of aggression. That bunker is really dangerously low and is going to get sniped, but there is plenty of bio here and a tank, so I think eventually these Stalkers will be pushed away. But TY is having to play on the back foot now as Zoun gets his third base down.
Yeah, oh, we do see a blink up from Zoun. Gonna go ahead and get some additional SCV kills. He's gonna get 8 total SCVs, which will kind of somewhat make up for the 10 probes that he lost to those Widow Mines. But nice Michael there saves the majority of the Stalkers.
Meanwhile, another dropper here on the south side of the third. It is going to be spotted by the pylon, and these Stalkers are going to be able to shut this down. That nice blink forward. TY is going to get a chance to put down those mines, but their exit route has been removed. That observer is going to clean those up, but TY does get a chance to see 3 more warp gates on the way.
Yeah, he's gonna build up to kind of what we would refer to as swarm toss, where you kind of heavily rely on gateway units. But the TY is unrelentless with those Widow Mines. He is still trying to get some additional probe kills. He's gonna actually split one of the Widow Mines to the dirt base while dropping at the same time. Oh, but Zoun has some really nice reaction, some nice splits, mitigating some of the damage.
Oh, I think that one's going to land.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Last second, it just redirects. So, unfortunate here. Does a little bit of nice micro to try and pull the Blink Stalkers down to the low ground, giving him an opportunity to hit into the main. But Zoun is all over it, not falling for any of TY's shenanigans. This mine might get another chance to fire here. Oh, the observer does show up just in time, so he's going to prevent that damage. And right now, Zoun doesn't have a whole lot going. He is just probing up a little bit, continuing to get some production going on his side. But TY is firing on all cylinders. +1, or excuse me, 1-1 for his bio, trying to make that switch a little bit. Also picking up combat shield as well.
Yeah, and more importantly, he's actually, I would say, ahead. Even though he's down in workers, there's still those meals that kind of push him ahead in terms of the economy. And you see all the effects of the Widow Mine draws, making Zoun having to pull all those probes off. But meanwhile, he's going to go ahead and go for a counterattack here. Charge like get on top of the Marines. All he has is Marines. There is one tank on the back, which will hopefully help in this defense. But there is a Widow Mine drop at the dirt base of the Protoss while this is going on. And this time around, he is not going to respond in time.
Oh, okay. 8 probes. That's not too bad. I think that for a completely unprotected line, that could have been a lot worse for Zoun. But TY is committed into the defense here. Does have some bio on the high ground that is going to be able to fire away uncontested. So a little bit of support, but the just relentless pressure here by Zoun is forcing TY to pull some workers off the line. 13 workers do go down. And the aggressive warp-ins here over on the opposite side of the map for Zoun is going to continue putting the pressure on. I just don't know if TY is going to be able to hang on to this. His supply is falling fast. Yeah,
he's got to pull the SCVs, trying to use it as buffer for the Marine and Marauders. But Zoun, he is going to smartly actually retreat here. I mean, he is way ahead in terms of the worker count. Although the Widow Mines are still kind of being pesky here. But Zoun should be able to clean that up pretty soon. And overall, we do have ourselves a nice position for Zoun. He is up 58 to 38 workers. But the thing is, he is a bit behind on those upgrades.
Yeah, and actually, this is a scary moment here for Zoun. I mean, TY does have 20 plus supply into Army. And TY, I think, just needs to go. I think he's being way too patient about this. Every second that goes by, he's going to try and get a stim snipe on that warp prism, and he does get it 3/4 of the way down, but not entirely. But I think every second that goes by now is continuing pressure that Zoun is going to be able to put on as he is continuing to transition a little bit into later game tech, picking up Psionic Storm. And I think TY is finally triggered in his head that he's got to go and he needs to go now.
Yeah, now the good thing about Storm is it doesn't really take into account the upgrades as much. It's kind of like the disruptors where the upgrades doesn't really matter as much. So if he can get some good storms despite being down 1/1 upgrade, I think he should be fine. And here we go. Looks like he will have the high ground. Storm is not quite done. It's just barely okay. It's just done. Just finished.
Yeah, I was going to say it. Now that it is done, this Warp Prism is going to get a lot of work accomplished. One Storm does blanket the bottom side of the army and does get a nice bit of damage put together. Nothing lethal just yet. He's got to be really careful he doesn't overextend. Oh, that Warp Prism is now dangerously low. Is not going to be able to juggle those for very much longer. So rightfully so, he drops all of those High Templar. And now the run-bys begin for Zoun. Zoun is just going to continue putting on pressure.
Yeah, and there's actually not a lot here. There's a few Marines, but these is going to force some SCVs to pull. Oh, actually some nice little hold micro there by the SCVs. So won't be losing any workers. And we do see a little bit of a ring around the rosy as both armies are out in the middle of the map.
I gotta give this to Zoun. I feel like Zoun is paying a lot of respect to TY here. I think Zoun's had a couple of moments where he could easily jump on top of this army and have it all be over. But he's playing so patiently, and that is working out so far in TY's favor. But both players are very volatile here. Some nice energy on to these High Templars. Where are those mines? The mines have all but been picked off, so those high temps just need to get inside of range, but TY is not allowing him to close that distance anytime soon. Yeah,
oh, but we do see some ghosts here on TY. Will he get the nice effective EMP? He needs to get the EMP on those High Templars. Those High Templars, so scary with those splash damage. And, ooh, some nice little bit pick off. Nice splitting. See TY splitting up a few group of units to kind of mitigate some of the storm damage, but we do see the 4th base going up for Zoun, while TY, he's just now started his 4th command center.
Yeah, going up into +3 bio, but yeah, making that shift into Ghost here, and that's going to be great with those EMPs. Has he picked up the upgrade yet? No, he hasn't, so that upgrade is probably going to come down the pipe soon to give him a bigger EMP blast as he goes along. He did get a nice coating. He didn't actually go after the High Templars, but did get a nice shot off on to the shields of Zoun's army, which forces him to keep that rolling in a bigger way. So one lowly High Templar just kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, and we do see the storm drop. Unfortunately, wasn't able to save the High Templar. Oh, actually loses the warping too. So that kind of mitigates some that kind of blocks any warp prism might I guess harass across the map. But here we have Zoun going down the map. Oh man, I'm not sure if he should go down there. There's a lot of units.
But with those EMPs pairing up with the mines, that does make this very, very difficult dance for Zoun. He has to be very, very careful. One EMP and one mine could absolutely obliterate a big chunk of his army. Both players kind of posturing up here on the lower right-hand side, but taking a breather for just a moment. A couple of Zealot run-bys into that 4th base at TY, but it is going to get shut down immediately. Planetary Fortress is going to be able to clean up Zealot runs rather easily without a whole lot of issue. When behind, Snoopy. When behind, and Zoun feels like he needs a couple of tricks, so he is going to bowl up some disruptors and going into that Dark Shrine.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, Protoss will mix in the Darkstrike in the kind of the mid game, kind of surprise the Terran while in the middle of a fight. They just send the Dark Templars into each mineral line, and it can actually cause a lot of disturbance. But before we get into the Dark Shrine, there is a huge attack by TY, but the Storms will push it back. And Zoun, I think as long as he can hold off, he's got the Colossus tech coming, he's got Thermal Lance coming. That will actually add additional splash damage to his army composition. And then you mix that with DTs, that would be pretty annoying. But in the meantime, we do see a huge charge lot run by, once again, by Zoun.
Well, and I think important to note, the Forge did get picked off, so +2 armor for Protoss did get picked off, and he's actually just being ravaged here on both angles. Dropping the natural, just never been able to be cleared up, and the big chunk of the army goes down as well. TY loses his own. Oh, some really, really big hits here. TY losing a big chunk of his own army and losing 23 workers. But I just don't think Zoun has what it takes to clean all of this up in his natural. I mean, this drop is still going on.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for Zoun is that he did get 26 SAVs during that Zealot counterattack. So even if Zoun loses this, I mean, this natural base is pretty much mined out. It's not the most important. He still has his Robo still running, so he can continue popping up those disruptors, get additional Colossus if needed. I think Zoun is pretty okay, although his army supply is a bit scary low, so he's gonna definitely need to make use of those splash damage units in order to basically be more efficient, so that he can at least survive long enough to get those this economy advantage that he has up and running.
He's going to need a couple more warp-ins of Zealots here to be able to hold off that bio army, because those disruptors are incredibly strong, but if there's no buffer to protect those disruptors while they get their charges moving across the ground, the one stim will just pop on in with that bio and shut those down immediately. Scan does go down by TY, so he does see that the big bulk of the army is coming here. He does need to rally his troops here. Where is his army? Oh, he's divided it. He's got a big doom drop here. Recall is going to happen, so he's going to pull the entirety of the army here. The Nexus does get killed, but not before the entire army is able to come back and fight.
Yeah, TY, he's going to lose the majority of his ground forces, but he's okay. He's still ahead in army supply. However, I mean, Zoun army is getting pretty scary. He's got, let's see, how many units does, how many... Okay, he has total of 5 disruptors, 12 blink star. Okay, yeah, not too scary. I mean, he only has a few gateway units and the disruptors. There's no high Templars or Colossus, so I would say all of a sudden TY probably is looking comfortable as we head into the 18 and 30 minute mark.
Yeah, what an amazing game number 1 here. I mean, if this is going to be any indication of the type of games we're going to see, buckle in, grab some popcorn, make yourself a drink, and we've got ourselves a StarCraft 2 to play. Really nice pincer attack here by TY. He is going to close in on Zoun. A couple of disruptor shots don't connect with their marks, and when those miss, oh, that one only gets a couple of ghosts, so it did get a little bit of value, but anytime those miss, that's a lot of downtime. That army supply number is not as useful as it could be.
Yeah, we see Terran nowadays are so good at splitting against the disruptors, even sniping them off if they feel like they could get on top of it before the disruptor ball shoots out. So yeah, TY, he is such a beast in terms of the micro, but he's got to be careful. There are still more disruptors on the field. If he gets one bad disruptor hit, that could totally change the complexion of this game. But oh wow, he's actually sniping all the disruptors. Oof.
TY is all over the map right now, but Zoun is trying to make the most of it. I mean, he won't go down without a fight. He is going to fight this to the bitter end. Both players using their tactics very, very well, getting a couple of pincer attacks to surround moving armies. But that's just the thing here between the two. TY is constantly fighting with a chunk of his army at a time. And I feel like Zoun always has his entire army at any one engagement, and he's just not able to shut down half of TY's army, and TY is able to continue to expound that over time, getting ahead on upgrades and just continuing to get those higher tech units out onto the field.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared for Zoun because he's stuck on Gateway and Disruptor tech. He needs to start teching into something a bit different, as the TY is mixing in Liberators into his army. But we do see a double prong attack here coming into the Natro. There are 2 Robos here, so it is, if it does get shut down, then that will put Zoun further behind. But he's got to split his army, as there are 2. Oh, these Disruptors get caught off in the middle of the map.
No, that's what I'm talking about here. If there's nothing to buffer for those Disruptors, they just go down in a hurry to 1 stim. So, does lose a little bit of his army, but TY absolutely glad to trade a Marine and Marauder for 4 Disruptors.
Alright, and now TY is possibly looking for the kill here. He's got Ghosts, he's got Liberators, he's got a bunch of Bow units on the ground that are upgraded, 3-3 upgrades for the Terran player, while Zoun is stuck on +1, 2, and GG, TY takes game number 1.
Yeah, a master class on patience, and I felt like TY just continually did a death by 1,000 cuts. So, GG to TY, but also Zoun playing some really strong games as well. So, I'm interested to see how this series will unfold.
Yeah, and it is the loser's pick, so Zoun will choose Nightshade as his next map. By the way, during that game, we did have a few Streamlab alerts. So we'd like to shout out to a few people. First of all, Pop DIR, thank you for the follow, as well as D Rodriguez F. These I'm gonna butcher some of these names. CK Good WN58. Sun Joe Zhang, Jack Flap 1, Wet 1928. This is a Korean name. Macho, okay, Macho 1929. YWZ 34566. Dice 221F, and just right now, Young 3000. Thank you all for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the support. And if you guys want, you can also further support the channel by subscribing, giving a sub. You get some nice emotes, as well as access to replay packs from our Alpha Pro series that you can find in our Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out and showing up. Let your friends know. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/alphax. SC2. We've got some links there so you can support us. Again, talk about that Matcherino link. You can click the link in the chat. It'll show up here in just a little bit of time. AXCOM65 adds 50 cents to that prize pool. So do keep that in mind. Take advantage of those opportunities. Matcherino does such a great job of helping us put on great content like the Alpha X Pro series. So thank you so much for helping participate with that. We are just holding for just a moment here, trying to get one of our crew members all set up and ready to go. They needed to restart a stream. So we should be just a moment here and we'll get started.
Yeah. Oh, we just had a few follows again for my man, as well as Steve-O. Oh my god, this is hard. Steve Oz Tinpao. Sorry if I butcher your name. Some of these names are crazy, so forgive me. Oh, Creighton, hey. Don't judge my bad guess.
Oh. English cast ready. Looks like we are set and ready to go. I just noticed, I took a peek at the main stream and it says Snoopy and Rushy, but then I'm like, but there's only me. But I see you hanging out in the corner. How do you get your microphone to sound so good? I mean, you're sitting so far away from mine.
Well, you know, I have a loud bark.
Oh, so true, so true. So here we are, heading into map number 2. We are going to be on Nightshade, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Playing for Team Alpha X, our red Protoss player. Give it up for Zoun.
And spawning at the top left, we have our blue Terran player from Triumphant Song Gaming. It is TY.
So I'd say this is another one of those maps that's rather straightforward. This is probably one of the more straightforward of the map pool in this season. Really easy second and third expansions, but I feel like that fourth starts to open things up, and then of course you get into the wide world of esports here, going on past 5th and 6th. So I kind of like this map. It is rather dark though. I know there's a lot of people that get concerned with the dark maps. I think a Darkness Sanctuary, not quite as bad as that map, but I'm sure there are people who's like, I need to be looking at the surface of the sun for me to be pleased. And I mean, it's like, calm down.
Well, it definitely matches the name of the map, Nightshade. It's gotta be dark. It would be pretty ironic if the map was pretty bright.
I mean, do you remember Darkness Sanctuary though? I mean, I think they had to make like 2 hot fixes on that map because people are like, this map is so dark, it's not even viable for professional play, even though it was like the GSL map from the previous season. so everyone's sitting there going like, but, huh? I mean, literally, whatever. So they brightened it, and then I think they brightened it again. So it was wonderful.
Wow. Well,
anyways,
oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say we're moving into the interesting part of this game, at least. Nothing too crazy has happened just yet. Nice little wall off the top of Zoun's base to prevent the Reaper jump up. But take a look at this probe here, floating to the top side of the map. I wonder if we're gonna see a little bit of a proxy cheese here.
It's definitely possible. The Reaper. Where is the Reaper? Oh, he didn't make a Reaper. Oh, wait. Am I missing something?
Nope, I think he went Marine first.
Yeah, okay. He did go Marine first. All right, so I guess he's skipping the Reaper. He's getting the faster factory. Let's see what this is going to be for. We do see the fast starport. You know what? It just might be a Marine medevac drop. Just a standard. I think I saw this on the GSL Super Tournament that he played in. If I remember correctly.
It's a tech lab going down onto the factory right now, which leads me to believe that we're not going to see maybe that, but we do have mines coming out here, so it could be another mine drop just without drilling claws.
Yeah, possibly. We don't see the armory compared to the last game, so there is not going to be a quick drilling call. We'll see what this is going to be for. I feel like it's going to just be... Okay, yeah, it's just going to go for tanks. Probably going to go to a dirt command center after this and just play a standard macro game.
Yeah, I think the Phoenix is actually going to pose a lot of problems here. So the Viking opening from TY is actually going to be a nice choice to help push that away. But the Phoenix are going to be able to prevent any major aggression here that TY wants to do, especially eliminating those mine drops that did Zoun so much trouble in game number 1. But it looks like TY is just going to play a little bit more safe, a little bit more reserved, going into some tanks, getting another Viking out. So building a little bit of an air army here rather than opting for that medevac mobility.
All right, looks like both players have decided to just play normally. And we do see, we do see the first sign where TY does get hold of, oh wait, actually never mind, he did scout the Phoenix earlier. Anyhow, he's looking to move out right now, so he's got even brought a few SCVs. Might even see some bunkers headed toward that dirt base, and he can siege up behind that rock area and get some bunkers up. That's going to be really tough to break.
Oh, yeah, I think this is really, really scary for Zoun. Zoun has got to be able to respond to this, but he doesn't see this coming just yet. The Viking does fly into range of the Nexus, but here we go. First bunker is getting put down, and so is the second. Both tanks do get sieged. Those Phoenix could pick up the tanks if they want to, but the Marines are going to do their best to try and cover. Really nice splitting from TY to get those Marines out of the way as they start targeting down Phoenix. 2-3 Phoenix do go down, and all of the Marines do manage to get picked up. One lonely Cyclone is going to try and be a hero here, but enough energy on there is going to be able to push that down, but maybe not for long. Oh, wow. I can't believe it. Some Marines from behind actually helped Zoun for that Cyclone. There's one tank that's still alive. Those bunkers were allowed to complete. Zoun, has TY done it?
I think so. I mean, that was an odd choice. He actually did not lift the tanks with those Phoenixes. He actually lifted up Marines with those Phoenixes, which is an odd choice because those tanks were kept firing, and their powerful pot shots were pretty much obliterating all those depths and the stalkers. And now TY taking down the dirt base. I think he's looking to be in a pretty comfortable position. He got his own dirt base up and running, morphing that into an orbital. So I mean, if TY just sits back, he should be fine.
Oh, I mean, TY's got to feel so good about that engagement there. Getting really, really fortunate with the Cyclone and the Marine timing on the reinforcements, but it completely sets Zoun backwards a couple of clicks. I mean, Zoun had a really nice sizable worker lead, but without the third base to be able to capitalize on it, TY is able to get his own SCV count and actually even it back out. So TY effectively bringing himself back into this game almost neck and neck. Yeah,
I mean, right now, it looks like Zoun is going to go ahead and retake the dirt at the kind of the one near his natural instead of retaking it back into the bottom side. And he is building up a Colossus force. So we'll see if he decides to go for a timing push once his thermal lance is done.
Yeah, and I think Colossus are going to be a nice choice here as TY is opting to stay on bio, at least for the time being, picking up 1-1 for his bio army. Hallucinated Phoenix is going to come in and scout and confirm that this is in fact the case, does see enough of those Marines, and knows that the Thermal Lance will be a good option for him as he does push across the map, and he is starting to warp in some Adepts. Adepts can be really good against the light armor of those Marines.
Yeah, this is kind of reminds me of a really old school build where back in the day the Phoenix Colossus build was kind of a thing. It was a really strong kind of a combo where, you know, because the Phoenixes will take down the Vikings while the Colossus shoots on the Marines. But looks like we do see a mix of Adepts here, and will he let those Adepts shade in? Oh, he actually does.
That was an incredibly bold play on Zoun's part. TY had plenty of reinforcements here. Those tanks are going to be able to siege up once again. Nice big stim here as it does get completed. The concussive shells actually is allowed to complete as well. One Colossus does go down. The rest of them are doing some decent work, but TY has the high ground, and we all have seen Star Wars. We know how this ends when you try to fight the person on the high ground, and Zoun's entire army is cleaned up here. He does manage to save one Colossus, but that's not going to cut it against the 120 to 90 supply of TY.
Oh, I gotta say, that was kind of a sloppy execution by Zoun. First of all, he let the Adepts shade in while his Colossus and Stalker Force were in the back behind. And then after that, his credit to TY, he actually focused fire on those on those phoenixes that were lifting the tanks. He focus fired them, and all the tanks dropped in the blink of an eye, and he was able to just take that fight convincingly.
Yeah, and TY is just going to continue to expand beyond this, working on increasing his worker lead. He is dropping that 4th base on location, so that's being built as we speak. But just continuing to start to carve a little bit of a path here out of the center so he can be a little more aggressive, wanting to be able to take down the likes of that Warp Prism, which is ferrying that Colossus over to the left side of the map. I wonder if that Colossus is going to go drop in on a mineral line and say hello to some unprotected SCVs, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Oh, and unfortunately, it decides to choose, of all the targets it could hit in this tiny little area, that poor defenseless missile turret.
That turret must have wronged him in another life. But anyhow, TY, he is going to go on top of this 3rd base. And I don't see any way Zoun can hold on from this.
Yeah, GG is called. TY taking a commanding 2-0 map lead in this series. Whew, dang. It looked like Zoun was going to have a real tight grip on that particular map, and just unfortunately kind of let it slip there. And hopefully you can kind of cobble together good strategy here going into map number 3. Definitely don't want to see him perform like that every single game, right, Snoopy?
Definitely. And while we wait for the next game to start up, let's go ahead and talk about one of our lovely sponsors. We have an important announcement from one of our official sponsors, G Fuel. They started their awesome buy one get one free offer. So for a limited time, when you buy one of their proven energy formulas, like the French vanilla iced coffee, or maybe the Dr. Disrespect's black on blackberry, you can get another one completely free. Offer ends on March 27th, so make sure to go and check it out now.
And we want to thank G Fuel for being such a great sponsor of Alpha X, helping us put on great events such as these. And we also want to thank you for watching. You also allow us to be a part of this amazing community, and we want you to also continue helping us by supporting Matcherino, which gets our players paid as quickly and efficiently as possible. Take a look at that Matcherino link. AXCOM65 allows you to add 50 cents all for free. I mean, Snoopy, I have a question for you. Do you like free money?
Oh yeah, I love free money.
Who doesn't like free money? Our players definitely like free money. And if you could just reach into your pocket and go, well, I have this 50 cents here, instead of just throwing it at your monitor, I mean, why not put it into the pocket of a StarCraft 2 player? So consider using that code, AXCON. Oh, shoot, where'd my screen go? AXCOM65. That's the code you need. Thanks for checking that out. And we are getting ready for map number 3 here. We're going to Zen. How do you feel about Zen LE? One of the cheekier maps in this pool.
Yeah, I feel like somehow a little bit in favor of Terran just because of the layout. There's a lot of places where tanks can be pretty devastating if you let them siege up. But I think a lot of games here tend to go to the macro game. So we'll see if that is the case here on game number 3.
Spawning in the bottom left of Zen. It's our blue Terran player playing for Triumphant Song Gaming. Give it up for TY.
And spawning here at the top right, we have our red Protoss, excuse me, from Team Alpha X. He is down 0-2, looking to get his first point on the scoreboard. Can he do it? It is Zoun.
Now, I'm wondering, just pondering to myself, when we're going to start seeing Zoun pull out just a little bit of cheeky play here. I think on Zen, this has got the potential to happen here, especially with the way this map is constructed. We're taking a look at what is probably the 17th base for most players, even though it is the closest in proximity to the main. But there is such a quick rush distance down the gut of this map. Oh, and I actually love this. I'm going to stop talking about that for just a brief moment. Drops the supply depot only partially completed to force the wall off on this probe. That probe not going to be able to get into the main base of TY. Incredibly smart play.
Yeah, you were talking about Zoun pulling off some cheeky play. Well, it is TY who's this time around pulling off a cheeky play, getting actually a 2-Rex build, possibly for Mass Reapers, and you do not actually see this commonly in TvP. So it'll be interesting to see if Zoun gets caught off guard or if he can respond properly.
And the first Reaper is going to be out. It is just 2 racks, so not a giant commitment here. I mean, as a TVZ fan, if I see 2 barracks, I know that I only have to kill just a handful of Reapers, and then I'm going to be just fine. And as we can see, TY is going to double down on this not being super all-in and get his natural base going here. But this is still going to be something that Zoun has to deal with. He can't just leave this alone, otherwise these Reapers are going to deal a lot of damage to his economy.
Yeah, Reapers, it can definitely snowball if you let it get out of hand. So Zoun, well, yeah, definitely want to make sure he keeps the Reaper in control. He does have a second Adept on the way and actually getting a Stargate. So he is sticking to the same opening as last game.
Yeah, he's going to have to find some way to deal with these Reapers to begin with, although he's getting some really nice shots off on the back too. Is going to force those Reapers to go away and heal, and we're up to 5 Reapers now, and actually that Reaper production has been cut. So, and actually, excuse me, it's 4 Reapers. So if Zoun's able to kill even one of these Reapers, he shuts down a majority, if not all, of this aggression. No, there is a 5th Reaper. I thought I counted correctly. It's just kind of lagging off to the backside there. These Adepts are going to be able to jump ahead, but some really nice mine micro is going to push those all away, and this is actually going to open up a lot of damage here. Where did those Stalkers go? The Stalkers disappeared. I'm not quite sure where they went.
Ah, man, they probably taking a cigarette break or something, but this is devastating damage. I mean, 12 probes at the 4-minute mark. That is not what you want as a Protoss.
Oh, I mean, finally now this Oracle is going to be able to clear everything up, but 12 workers, 12 Snoopy. That is just way too much damage for Zoun to easily recover from, especially when he had such a nice economic lead.
Yeah, that is pretty much almost game-ending damage. I mean, you talk about this early in the game where you lose that many probes, and it's only for 5 Reapers too. It wasn't like a huge commitment. It wasn't like a 3-4 racks mass marine build or something like that. It was only 5 Reapers, and looks like Zoun will try to get a few worker kills of his own, but these Marines should be able to clean this up or push it back at the very least.
Yeah, not really walking away with a whole lot of damage there, just trying to get anything done. 3 workers is a small amount. I mean, it's better than nothing. But right now, going for the Dark Shrine in the top left-hand corner of the map. So Zoun, sensing a little bit of urgency in his play here, is going to try and be just a little cheeky. Stim Pack is finishing up here. We're going to have to watch the energy economy of TY here. I guess he does have a missile turret in the natural base, so TY already semi-prepared for the possible switch into DTs.
Oh, and these Marines might get an Oracle. Nice positioning there. Was expecting the pathway of the Oracle. Oh, might actually get the second one. Nope, doesn't get the second one. But it looks like TY is possibly looking to attack here. There are a shoot battery in the back, so Zoun should help Zoun a little bit in terms of the defense here.
Yeah, Zoun's able to push this back for just a little bit, but TY with Stim is going to be able to pick off just a little bit of this and run away. Third base is being built on location, and it's just about done for TY. Gets a nice scan off into the main. Still doesn't officially know about the Dark Shrine, but once again is rather prepared. He's got the scans, he's got the missile turrets. He is not, Zoun is not going to be able to shut down the building of that third base. So third base is going to be allowed to complete, which is a bit unfortunate timing. However, 3DTs could do a lot of damage if left unchecked. So we're going to have to see how TY is able to deal with that. And the DTs are in the third base. It does provide just a little bit of distraction here with the Oracle. And now the onslaught begins. Unfortunately for Zoun, this orbital command is just going to be able to lift eventually, so that's not going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Oracle does shut down the production of that starport for just a tiny bit of time, but 5 workers is not the kind of return he was looking for on his investment.
Yeah, I think once DTs are revealed, unless you get significant damage before they get cleaned up, it's hard to make use of them later on in the game. I mean, Terran can throw down turrets. They can also throw down scans and also the Raven as well. So they have like 3 ways of detection. So unfortunately for Zoun, wasn't able to get as much economic damage. I mean, he still gets some, so it's at least nothing. I mean, it's more than something, or better than nothing, rather.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of, it's kind of counterproductive, at least for Zoun. Xenodactyl mentioned in the chat that the Oracle play was already asking for TY to build missile turrets in each one of his mineral lines, so he's kind of setting himself up for not as much success. I'd hate to say that it was a failure, but definitely not the value that he was looking for on the investment for a proxy pylon and proxy DT shrine across the way. So TY is going to push out across the map here with his bio, and Zoun is going to be able to scout this with the DT, the scouting DT. The DTs paid for themselves. I was wrong. Take it all back. TY is going to swing around to the left-hand side here. He could doom drop this entire group into the main. And I think that's what he's trying to do, trying to pull as much of the army to the front as humanly possible, because walking up that tiny ramp with all those minerals there, that's going to be a really, really tight choke for him to get up, even with Link. So actually just decides that doesn't want to fight it just yet. TY is going to go home. He is going to try and get his worker count just a little bit higher, probably take a 4th base behind this as well.
Yeah, we do see a charge and storm on the way for Zoun, so he's getting into the mid game here. TY still looking for opening, it seems, trying to get some harassment done somewhere. This is a map where there is a lot of airspace, so things like drop can be affected, but there is a group of stalkers, blink stalkers, in the main base ready to pounce on these medevacs shall it fly in. Yeah,
and TY is going to have to be careful, but I think he senses that that's a main possibility here. So he does run the army forward. Those medevacs are going to be able to give him high ground and shut down the cyber core. So that's actually not insignificant, but it is going to push the army back just a little bit. Not brave enough to elevator those units up into the main just yet. Happy with the damage that he's got. Zoun is slowly getting into a point where he can stabilize. He does have High Templars out on the map, and Psionic Storm now finished allows him to be a little bit more aggressive against this bio army.
All right, looks like we see a it's like a kind of a bunch of pylons around the map at TY's side of the map. I think it's just for kind of spotters as well as kind of warp-ins if he decides to warp in some DTs, or maybe even get a bunch of charge light. He did make use of the charge light counterattack run by in the first game on Internal Empire, so that's definitely something that Zoun can pull off here to possibly kind of get some economic damage and even up the worker, or at least get ahead in the workers. As we see, TY is moving towards the 4th base here. Oh, but there is
and insanely strong Psionic Storm on a big chunk of the army. That's actually a great setup for Zoun here. TY is going to have to be very cautious as he moves forward, as a majority of his army is now rather weakened. It's going to take a lot of the energy off of those medevacs. Tanks are continuing to get set up here. Those ghosts do manage to find a couple of those High Templar down at the bottom side. One High Templar gets a little bit too far out and actually starts merging into an Archon at exactly the right time. But now the Biostim's forward is going to be able to take out a good chunk of this Stalker army, and TY just has way too much.
Ah, yes. This is just a lot of bio left over. There's no more storms left for the Protoss player. So he is just relying on gateway needs, actually a bunch of Stalkers, and that is not what you want against this army composition of Terran. And GG, Zoun goes down 0-3, and will have to go into game number 4 wondering what possibly he can do to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking at some good play out of Zoun. Zoun's not doing anything fundamentally wrong, but TY is just operating on a completely different level right now, and kind of putting on a clinic here for some good TvP. I don't think we've seen the same build out of TY in 3 different maps, so I'll be curious to see what map number 4 brings us here.
Yeah, you know what? I think the more devastating part is that TY, he pulled off a kind of a risky play with the Reapers. I mean, it's not something, you know, you would normally see. So he kind of changed it up and it actually worked out. Like, you know, it's those games where you kind of like change it up, go for a non-standard build, go for a build that you don't maybe possibly do a lot of times, and it turns out to be successful, and that those are really a few good wins, few good victories.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a moment here. Let's go ahead and shout out one of our sponsors in 24-hour fitness. Do you frequently find yourself not going to the gym because motivation doesn't hit you until late at night when your gym is closed? Maybe like right after this cast, if you're in North America, you just feel the urge to hit the gym at 11:30. If you do, 24-Hour Fitness is committed to helping you make sure you can be healthy in a way that fits your lifestyle and schedule. Go visit a location alone or bring a friend to get results. Take advantage of their free fit plans, studio classes, pools, cardio equipment, and much more at any of their 436 locations. You can even get free 7-day passes when you complete one of their Matcherino sponsor requests. And we want to thank 24-Hour Fitness for helping us support and fund these types of events right here at Alpha X. And we are getting set for map number 4 here. It's going to be on Everdream. This is a different map. You had a chance to cast any games or play any games on Everdream here, Snoopy?
No, but I have taken a nap and had some dreams here.
I like it. I like it. That caught me off guard. I was like, did one of those where my mind mentally checked out for a moment, like, oh, he's gonna give me a great answer, and then wait, did he say what I think he said? I think he did. Oh, too funny. Well, let's get our players introduced here on Everdream. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, our red Protoss player. He needs your energy, chat. Post a frown for Zoun. Give it up for our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. It's Zoun.
You'll definitely lead your support and cheer. But on the bottom left side, we have our blue Terran enjoying a commanding 3-0 lead. Can he extend it to number 4? It is TY.
All right. So, looks like it's going to be an early scout here for Zoun to get himself at least the information he needs to be a little more successful in this game and prevent himself from being Reaper rushed once again. Although, I mean, it is very, very easily one of the better holds he's had in the series so far, holding those Reapers back all the way until the fateful 12, but you know, that's fine. That's fine. That's not very important. So
Rob 7011 in the chat saying, well, I have some something to say about the 24-hour fitness. Well, yes, we do encourage you to go to the 24-hour fitness gym after all this coronavirus thing that has died down. I mean, you know, we're all told to stay at home, so we might get a little bit out of shape. So we encourage you afterwards to, you know, after everything is kind of died down, to go ahead and get back into shape. But anyhow, we do see the first adept will be chrono boosted, and this SCB might want to head home like right now, or he will have to suffer the death of the adept. Alright. Looks like Zoun has decided to go back into Twilight play. The past few games he's gone Stargate. It has not worked out for him. So I guess he's gonna kind of going back to his first game where it was a bit more closer. It was the game was definitely a bit more competitive compared to I think compared to the last two. But looky here, Rushi, we see a proxy by TY. What do you think this is for?
I mean, I just feel like TY is kind of flexing at this point, where he is doing all these silly shenanigans. More than likely going to be Banshee coming in on the quick ascent, and actually going to be a Viking. I think that's really interesting. Usually you see that proxied, it's either going to be a Liberator or a Banshee, and I figured Banshee since it's against Protoss, but be interesting to see what he does with this Viking here, as he is getting a little bit aggressive with the initial 2 Marines and Hellions, pushing the Stalkers and Adepts back. Depth actually gets really, really low. A couple more Hellions do swoop in here, and oh, this is actually going to be really scary here. This is a wide open base for these 2 Hellions.
Oh yeah, oh man, those probes are few clumped up. Although actually last minute spread does help. Only loses 3 probes, so not too shabby. Let's see how many units were lost. That was 4 Hellions and 2 Marines.
Yeah, so actually not too bad. Oh, but here comes the hero Viking. I guess the Vikings do have added damage against the probes, since the probes are mechanical. Oh, but those Hellions actually had the world's greatest lineup there, and they actually do still. Oh, Zoun just making this very, very interesting and difficult for us to watch as viewers.
Yeah, he's he's giving us some heart attack here. TY, he's been pretty relentless on the harass, but Blink is done, so I think Zoun should be fine, presumably, if he can just make sure to defend correctly and place his units at the correct spots. Might possibly want to actually start walling off the natural if it needed for these against these Hellions, but I think he should be fine with the Stalker.
All right, as we do get in here, a couple of Hellions do continue to work in, and TY is committed to getting some value out of those Hellions. The Stalkers are going to be able to deal a lot of damage to the starport, but the starport is not going to fall just yet. This bunker is under attack, though a couple of SCVs is going to be able to hold it together for just enough time for that tank to get down into position and provide the defense. So TY is able to hold that off for the time being, but Zoun's got a little bit of a stronger foothold in this game. I like to see where he's going right now. Yeah,
I mean, compared to the past few games, I mean, he's in a fairly decent spot. This time around, he hasn't lost tremendous amount of workers, and he's also, I mean, he's established his dirt base, got his economy running. He's getting his upgrades this time around. I think in the first game he was way behind in terms of the upgrades. This time around, he's got double forge upgrade going with the +1 attack as well as the armor, and looks like yeah, all is going smoothly so far for our Protoss friend.
So we are getting into charge plus 1/1 for the ground army of Protoss. TY does get a nice scan off, does see that those 6 gateways are incoming. I think this is going to be a big timing attack here for Zoun. TY is just immediately starting to get as much as he can to survive this. +1 is on the way, as well as combat shield and stim. He's going to do everything he can to be ready.
Yeah, and oh, TY is actually getting the base, the third base at the bottom. This is the area where it is pretty wide open. So if Zoun decides to go for a timing attack, he can set up a nice surround and kind of mitigate some of the tank splash damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts going around when his +1/1 is done, or maybe possibly if he wants to wait a bit further for his +2/2.
TY is, I mean, hard to say where he's at right now. He is going to push this out, so that actually makes it really simple. Pulling a large chunk of SCVs here, and Zoun does see that with the observer, so he knows that this is coming. He's going to have a chance to posture up here. What does Zoun have to play with? He's going to pull those stalkers down to deal just a little bit of residual damage to begin with, but here comes the main brunt of the army. It's going to knock down the rocks here while the tanks do get into position on the low ground. Meanwhile, back at home, not a whole lot happening as TY continues to kind of reposition, but Zoun doing a really nice job of trying to remain as agile as possible. Those tanks get a couple free shots off on the stalkers here as the bioforces are able to barrel on in. So really nice force fields dividing the army up a little bit, which does give Zoun a fighting chance here. The tanks are going to be able to go down and get picked away from the bottom of the 4th base location. A lot of workers going down as well, but that's just the buffer shield at the beginning of this army. I think TY might have enough to do this.
Oh, he is definitely pushing forward. Takes out all the Immortal, the high damage units, the Immortal, the High Templars. And now Zoun is just going off of a Charge Light and a few Stalkers. One Immortal does show up, so that can help. But it's looking pretty much... Oh, actually, you know what? There are actually no more reinforcements, so TY is forced to retreat back for now.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice defense by Zoun. Did force him to pull an entire mineral line worth of workers, so he is going to be behind in that regard, but not too terribly far. 51 to 48 workers, mostly army back at home for TY is the supply advantage. But it's going to be a really quick turnaround for TY as he is already moving out with his next army.
Yeah, and this time around, Storm is not done yet. It's only halfway done. So those High Templars are going to be pretty useless in this engagement. He does feed back the Medivacs, but he has a bunch of more Medivacs included in the army, so not too effective. But looks some kiting from TY will possibly wear out the Protoss army, at least in the front lines with this Charge Lot. Blink Stalkers gonna have to blink back, and that was a pretty efficient trade for TY.
Has some really nice observer information here. I think that observer has sat there for most of the game and gets a really good read on when these armies are pushing out. But Zoun really needs an opportunity to expand his army. I mean, 74 to 36 is not what he wants to be seeing. He is even on workers, but the mules are tipping TY over the economic bridge at this point. Zoun getting a little bit aggressive, trying to move out.
Yeah, he's gonna have to try to at least harass, because he doesn't want TY attacking on his side of the map. He's the one that keeps the Terran P occupied while he's rebuilding. So he's going to go ahead and try to use these kind of storm drops as well as these blink stalkers to try to slow down this push. But TY is going through. He has arrived at third base. Oh my god, so much Widow Mines as well. Some nice storm actually. But is it enough?
I think the Widow Mines did a nice job of blanketing the Protoss army, and this Bioforce is going to be able to push forward here. There's just not that much left for Zoun, as that one Liberator doing an amazing job of zoning for the bigger chunk of this army. Widow Mines are allowed to push forward here and zone out just a little bit more, but we'll have to see if they're allowed to fire once again. Oh, some really nice storms. Got to give credit to Zoun, who has gotten some really money storms off on the bulk of TY's army in this engagement.
All right, TY's gonna do the slow push, kind of inching forward with those Widow Mines. Liberators still kept alive, and actually 2 more Liberators joining the battle here. And yeah, this is gonna be exponentially harder and difficult for Zoun to clean up or defend, and TY slowly but surely inching forward and forward. It's not looking good for the Protoss.
Yeah, this is the patience that we were talking about from this Korean Terran in game number 1, where he is just incredibly just patient and willing to do a slow burn as he slowly pushes forward. And there's that patience in action. He's decided he's done enough damage. He's going to go home. He's going to secure his 4th base, while Zoun is continuing to cobble together the remains of his 3rd base, and TY just continuing to move further and further into the lead.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like just TY is just going to go ahead and get his +2/2 and then possibly go for another attack that might actually finish this game. At this point, it is his kind of his game to lose, as his supply is way ahead. 154 total supply to 89, so it's not looking good for the red Protoss. Although he is gonna go ahead and try to expand to his 4th base finally.
We want to go ahead and welcome all the viewers from Sniper's stream. Thank you so much for the host. We are here in game number 4, TY versus Zoun. And TY is kind of putting on a clinic here for TvP as he continues to secure a stronger lead here in game number 4. This is a best of 9, so Zoun's not down and out just yet if he doesn't manage to win this game, but he's going to be put in a very awkward position to try and win 5 games in a row, which is a no easy feat, as TY is able to move towards that 3rd base location of Zoun. More Liberators means more zoning, and I think this is going to be a very damaging push here for TY.
Yeah, there's some nice Templar spread, but it's just so many Liberators, not enough Stalkers, and yeah, this is pretty much it. GG. TY goes up 4-0.
All right. So this does move us to match point here for our Korean Terran, moving into Simulacrum almost immediately. So Zoun ready to go. I mean, he does have a tall order in front of him. He does have to win 5 in a row here if he wants to be the victor of our Alpha X Series number 7 tonight. Certainly not impossible, but I think it's a big, tall order here, wouldn't you say, Snoopy?
Definitely tall order. I mean, TY, he is one of the considered one of the top Korean Terran players. So that he is definitely not someone who. Oh wait, what's going on? Everyone's leaving the lobby.
Yeah, I think it was a map bug.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, TY is a scary opponent. I mean, in this grand scheme of things and throughout history, I don't think he's going to be considered one of the best Terrans, because he hasn't really had kind of the long sustained run that maybe someone like an Innovation had, or maybe Maru, or even Cero. Even back in the Wings of Liberty days with MVP, I mean, those players had really sustained dominance, which TY has never really had. But he's still someone that, you know, you don't want to see him in your group. You know, he's not someone that you want to play. He's still a really great Terran player and is considered one of the top Terran players still. So it's a really tough order for Zoun to go do a reverse 5-0. But you know what? We'll see. I mean, if you guys are Zoun fans, type into the chat, show him some support, root for him, and hopefully, maybe, possibly, he can do it.
Okay, we did get a lobby bug here, so we are trying to get that solved. So we're not quite done. Things are sitting on match point. We've got one more game to play. Just trying to get that figured out and solved at this point. We can use a chance to talk about one of our sponsors here, Alpha X in F-Bomb. They are a line of low-carb, high-fat foods to help you live a healthier life. They research, test, taste, and source the highest quality ingredients and put them into custom-made packages just for you. Thanks to F-Bomb products and their unique packaging, finding tasty, high-quality fat options at home or on the go is no longer a challenge for you. Whether you're at work, playing StarCraft 2, or hanging out around the house, you'll want to be sporting F-Bombs. And we are so thankful for their support of Alpha X and esports as we get ready here for map number 5. I think our lobby has been figured out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're waiting for one person to bump in to this lobby and we should be good to go.
Yeah. Banana 0225 says, is it over? Nope, it is not over. It is a best of 9. So the first person to 5 wins will win the series. And currently we have TY up 4-0, as you can see on the screen here with the scoreboard. And we're about to head into Simulacrum for game number 5. Just a reminder, guys, we do have a match arena for this event. I'm going to go ahead and type in match arena, exclamation match arena into the chat so you can see the match arena link as well as the coupon code that you can use to donate 50 cents for free to the overall prize pool to help support our players. I'm sure these players will definitely appreciate it as well. Here in Alpha X, we definitely appreciate all the support with using the match arena code. And if you want to help out furthermore, you can drop us a sub onto a Twitch chat, our Twitch channel, and get some nice lovely emotes as well as access to replay packs to our Alpha Pro series that you can find in our Discord. All right, here we go. Simulacrum game number 5.
Spawning in the top left-hand corners, our Blue Protoss player needs some help, needs your energy in the chat, and has to win 5 games in a row to be tonight's champion. Playing for Alpha X, give it up for Zoun.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have our red Terran player from Team Triumphant Song Gaming. 1 game away from cleaning up the series. It is TY.
I don't know why, but I was just secretly hoping when the first pylon got finished, it's like, come on, Forge. Come on, Forge. Come on. And, Gateway. So it is going to be at least a normal start to this game. We're going to find out very soon if Zoun has any cheeky intentions in map number 5. But neither does TY. TY is starting to open rather normal as well, but doesn't want to take any chances. Does send the SUV out across the map to make sure that the Protoss player isn't up to anything too spooky.
Yeah, looks like a normal opening for Zoun. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to go for the Stargate play once again or go back as from last game, the Twilight cancel play. It hasn't really worked out, both of them. But I mean, we'll see if Zoun maybe changes it up, maybe go for a cheeky kind of Dark Shrine build or something, or or something, because he needs to at least get the first point on the scoreboard to at least make the comeback.
And sometimes it just takes a little bit. It just that tiny little push, right, to get the whole snowball rolling, and suddenly you have an entire avalanche. And that's what Zoun is in desperate need of, is momentum in this series. And I think it's entirely possible. Take a look at that Twilight Council going down at the 2-minute 30-second mark. That's pretty early timing there, Snoopy.
Yeah, looks like he is. I mean, just based on the fact that he is building stalkers, possibly going back to that blink stalker play. This is a pretty good map for drops. You can see medevacs dropping into the main base, as well as between bases. That they kind of have a kind of dead space between the second and third. So blink stalkers can definitely help against that, as well as any potential Widowmine drops that TY has shown before. But yeah, looks like the blink has started researching.
Yeah, and TY actually playing this rather safe and reserved right now, getting a bunker down at his natural expansion. He's trying to play it safe and make sure that he doesn't die to anything too foolish. An incredible timing here by the Adept. Does pick off the Reaper, so the Reaper hasn't had a chance to see anything in the main base. That's going to give Zoun a lot of liberty here to just go ahead and tech up, immediately dropping 2 gateways at the front and a robo facility.
Yeah, that is always a really good feeling when you can snipe out the Adept. I mean, not the Adept, the Reaper early on in the game, because that is less. There's basically no more scouting from the Terran unless he does throw down the scan, or and also no harass. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it sneaking into your base. This, of course, is one of the maps that has 2 entrances to the main base. So if you can eliminate the Reaper early on, then you can have a bit of ease in your heart, a little bit less stress.
Oh yeah, anytime I can get the Reaper down as a Zerg player at the very beginning, take a look at that Marine spread. Oh my gosh, they're going to be ready for this Phoenix here, as it does try and nope, that's just it. Nope, this is sorry folks, main's closed. Moose out front, should have told you. Oh, it does sneak in though, and does get a chance to scout the whole thing. So effort and futility here, but Zoun does get a chance to see 2 tanks and a whole bunch of bio pulls. So this is actually going to be that timing that TY used very effectively in game number 2, and it's going to be a very strong push here. Observer is going to confirm, in fact, that it is coming. And what does Zoun have here to deal with this? He does have a few stalkers with blink. He's going to get a couple of good pickoffs here. Some really nice stalker micro, being able to blink those back before they get lethal damage. And it manages to take out a few of the bio pieces. Tanks are going to siege down on the low ground and aren't going to have the vision that they need just yet. But being able to use this bio to zone out is going to create enough vision for those tanks to get some work done.
The tank focus firing on Immortal focus firing on the tank, gets it to low life, but is still alive. Shield batteries, he needs to retreat his shield batteries, recharge its shield, and then go for another big attack. Charge is just started, so he won't have charge during this attack. But so far, he's actually whittled the Terran army down enough to force him back and to retreat. So this is actually really good news for Zoun, because TY has yet to claim his dirt base. Zoun, he's got his dirt base up, and I think Zoun, he must be feeling really good that the Terran is retreating for now.
And I think Zoun does sense the urgency in this situation. Although, I mean, both supplies are rather even. Worker counts are very comparable. Zoun actually taking a slight worker lead here, but dropping 5 more gateways behind this. So we could be seeing a quick transition into charge lots. Yeah, and yeah, they got a warp prism incoming as well. I think this is going to be a big push here.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got the few adepts parked into the bottom left side, and he does have a warp prism as well. So if he can go ahead and do a drop into maybe, let's say, the natural, pull the army away, and then shade into the depths into the third base at the same time, that could be pretty effective. I would love to see him do that. And it looks like he is loading up some zealots in the warp prism. He might even actually drop into the main base instead, but we do see some turrets going up for TY, so he should be fine against that warp prism unless Zoun decides to actually dive in there and sack the oh, this SCV catches the depths and the warp prism.
Yeah, but these missile turrets are going to make sure that that warp prism never gets inside of the main base. Concussive Shells is going to finish up here. TY just doing a really nice job of defending against this. Zoun making all the right choices here, putting some pylons out across the map to try and get a little bit of vision and a little bit of proxy run-by capability. Also getting to his fourth base, so trying to jump ahead of the base count here over TY.
Yeah, and Lanfear tuning in. He says tuning into a good game here, and definitely this game is looking to play out really well as both players are relatively even at this stage of the game at this moment. We do see that TY potentially going for the adept, but actually the main army of Zoun scares TY back. Oh, one random marine at the natural of the Protoss. He kind of sneakily got in there somehow.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who the security guard was that was sleeping on the job when that marine walked in through the front gate. This Liberator is going to deal a little bit of economic damage, anything slow down to that third base. There were 10 workers killed, which it looks like in the natural base of TY. So yeah, actually a really nice drop there happening, getting some good damage taken care of.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that. Hopefully, hopefully it wasn't too significant. I think it was just probably the depths, I think, maybe. But anyhow, we see that TY is moving out across the middle of the map. A little bit skirmish here out in the middle. And Zoun's got to be careful because he's only got a few immortals and mostly gateway units. He doesn't have any splash damage. And there, the first splash damage does join the force with the Disruptor. And he's going to rely on Disruptor this time around. Interesting.
Well, and TY opting for only Bioforces, at least at this point. He is transitioning into a little bit of mine. But the Disruptors are going to be incredibly strong, even against the mines. If they can sit right on top of the mine locations, they'll just blow up and do some good work there. But here's probably the source of that initial... oh, yeah, wonderful Blink Micro there is going to be able to pick off those mines. There was the source of our 10 worker kills from earlier in those run-bys, so those Zealots are going to be able to run by into the third and natural base locations. Once again, that SCV was out looking for it, but I don't know if they quite saw it. Quick little run by there as TY moves towards the bottom left corner of the map here. He's going to try and posture up on this fourth base location. One of those Disruptors way too far forward does get picked off immediately. So does the second one, and that's great damage done by TY. He's going to have to boost out of there so he doesn't lose everything, but great engagement so far.
Yeah, both players playing well defensively. First of all, TY defending that charge that run by, and then Zoun on the other hand defending against that big huge bio attack at his bottom base. But this time around, Zoun, he feels like he might have enough, and looking at the size of his army, it looks significantly bigger than the Bioforce, but there are a few tanks at the back. But there is one Disruptor. Can he get a nice money shot on that Bioforce? Oh, that was a nice shot there by the Disruptor. But too much tanks in the back will force Zoun to retreat.
Doesn't want to overextend here. He is getting some really nice trades making some good decisions. Zoun actually jumping ahead in the overall supply count. So doesn't want to throw away his lead by sticking around too long, and more zealots are going to be coming. Ooh, Disruptor does get a nice shot off here. The second one's not going to be able to connect, but that is going to soften up this main force of the army just enough to allow those Stalkers to blink on forward, and that's a very aggressive blink here, taking out one of the tanks. The Ghosts are going to be able to provide the cover that he needs, and Zoun, unfortunately, taking a questionable engagement. Ooh, nice Disruptor shot off on those SCVs. 10 workers do go down, so Zoun not completely down and out of it just yet. Another Disruptor shot does push the bulk of TY's bioforces back for the time being. So overall, you know, Zoun hung in there and is making some good choices here. Just needs to make sure he doesn't overcommit and throw away any advantage he has.
Yeah, especially since now he is starting to transition into Colossus, getting that thermal lance. Although, interesting enough, he's still making Disruptor on the Q-tab. But yeah, he is looking to mix in a second additional splash damage unit. But before then, oh, I'm not sure about this fight. He is engaging into a heavily fortified position. So much tanks in the back, doing so much splash damage. And oh my god, all those units, all those gateway units and ground units of Zoun gets demolished there, and all of a sudden TY enjoying a 160 to 118 supply lead.
Yeah, and our good friend Todd, famous words, Luca di Supply, and TY has jumped out ahead. It's unfortunate that Zoun took an engagement underneath such heavy tank fire, but I think Zoun was starting to see the writing on the wall and that he had to jump in and make something happen, and unfortunately that engagement didn't work out as well for him. So he is back home regrouping and picking up some Archons, a few more High Templar as well to make a few more Archons as the Colossus continue to come out as well, and that's going to be his transition of choice. Against the tanks, I'm not so sure if that's the best call, but I think in response to the bioforces, it's absolutely what he needs to help get a foothold back in this game.
Oh, the Observer catches eye on this army. He does get some nice disruptive shot on those tanks, heavily damaging them into red life. It might be best for TY to retreat and repair those tanks before he goes for an attack. And that should buy Zoun enough time to start getting his Colossus, getting his High Templars out, morphing some additional Archons. I think those I mean, that would pretty much be four splash damage units, which makes it extremely hard and difficult for TY to engage. And here we go. Zoun's gonna commit to it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this is the engagement he wants, but Zoun has said that now is the time. The tanks are raining down fire. Does manage to pick up off the tanks, and Zoun actually getting a really nice engagement there, doing a nice thing. Very smart, pulling back. 3-3 actually just finishes up for Zoun, so Zoun did all of that on the back of a slightly lower upgrade, and Zoun kind of surprising us all. I think he might have surprised himself even a little bit too, kind of stuck in the middle of the map, not sure exactly what to do. A couple more Immortals are being warped in as well, a couple more Archons, and just filling out the remainder of this army here, trying to find ways to maximize the damage. Yeah,
that was a really good engagement. At first it looked scary because those are so many tanks in the back, but those Archon soaked up so much of those tanks damage, and by the time the battle ended, they were really low in life. A bunch of them were low in life, but they all survived, and so now they're recharging their shield. He's adding more Immortals. Those Colossus stayed alive, and Zoun is looking to possibly get his first win on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, if he's gonna do it, he's got to do it now. He's run out of opportunities to make this happen, but he's trying to be as calculated as possible. TY is going to spot this this little run by here. Oh, those SCVs were so exposed, but Zoun's going to try and take out the damage there. But meanwhile, the main fight is happening here. Tanks are morphed on the high ground, and that siege is incredibly well placed, and unfortunately Zoun kind of caught in the middle there. This run by of Zealots is not incredible incredibly effective here, although does just kind of run by more of those SCVs, trying to make sure that he doesn't toss away all the units in this main army force. So does finally pick up 3 workers, so not for nothing. But TY has a really, really good grip on the defense right now. Lots of tanks, very, very good positioning, making it difficult for Zoun to capitalize on anything at this point.
Yeah, and he's actually starting to transition into nukes. We have not seen a single nuke throughout this whole entire series. We might actually finally get our first nuke game. But before we get into that first nuke, and while they're researching, Zoun looking to punish this base here at the bottom, but so much tank. Look at how many tanks those are. That is a total of 12 total tanks there. That's not something you want to go and walk up into.
Well, and I think Zoun is finally kind of putting the pieces together that there's just so many tanks, and is adding on yet another Stargate, so he can try and get some air units, as well as getting those shield upgrades and that air weapon upgrade. So that 4th base is going to be forced down at this point. Probes do get pulled off the line, but Zoun's going to deal some damage of his own. He is able to get to the planetary, so this is big damage. And those workers are stuck in the back corner. He could easily clean that up and make this a good worker advantage for him, but those tanks are not going to be breakable at this time.
Oh, there's a recall from Zoun looking to defend this, but I think this base will go down before he can defend it. A nice pick up there by TY. Although Zoun, he's not poor on bases. I mean, he's got a bunch of additional bases coming up, or actually established, and an additional one coming up. So is TY. He's kind of taking his half of the map as well. But Zoun, he's looking to take down one more planetary. All the reinforcement for TY moving towards the bottom. Oh, and this disrupt this. Oh my god, the tanks are lagging behind, but they do finally catch up and join the force, join the battle. And Zoun smartly retreats. Wants to pick his battle smartly. Doesn't want to engage those tanks. Just want to swing back and forth, back and forth. This is a large map. He can take advantage of the mobility of those tanks. But we see a one ghost coming into the natural, nuking the Stargate production. Oh boy.
Oh, this is dangerous. That's going to be hard to find as well. But that nuke is going to be allowed to go off and does take out the pylon that was powering most of those Stargates. So that carrier production is going to be very unfortunately slowed down here. 10 workers did go down as a result of that nuke as well. So the big chunk of the army is going to kind of posture up here in front of the 4th base location. Gosh, there's just so many tanks.
Yeah, there's actually no answer for these tanks. He doesn't have Tempest or anything, no carriers. The Stargate were kind of depowered. Oh, okay, he just finally added some additional pylons. He's adding, actually, oh, I got the production tab up. He's making carriers.
Oh no. Oh, the nuke is just going to pick off that army, and oh, what an unfortunate way to end this series. I think that TY is going to be able to just push this forward and make this the end of everything in this game. One carrier does come out. Carrier has arrived, but unfortunately, I don't think carrier is going to be very effective in this case. So, TY playing a very, very strong game here. Zoun's going to give it his absolute best here to the very end. One last warp in, and that's all she wrote. GG is called, and TY with a very convincing 5-0 victory in this series. It makes him our Alpha X Series number 7 champion.
Yeah, unfortunately for Zoun, it wasn't his night. But also TY, he is a strong, scary player. So well done there by TY, and congrats to him. He takes it again 5-2-0, clean sweep.
Yeah, and very dominant form as well, showcasing his ability to play Terran at a very high level. But don't count Zoun out just yet. I think Zoun is a very strong player, definitely new to the scene, very up and coming, and I think we will see some very strong play out of Zoun in the future. And I look forward to casting future events where he is one of the highlight players.
For sure, for sure. All right, and that pretty much does it. But before we wrap this up, I'd like to give one last shout out to one of our sponsors, Devour. Devour, they offer a variety of frozen meals. Sometimes, you don't have many good choices when you're hungry and in the tournament. And that's exactly why we partnered with Devour. In each Devour meal, the taste is dialed up to the max. Their flavor turned up to the max, as well as their texture. With their tender meats and their creamy sauces, their crispy crusts, and their gooey cheeses, it's always ridiculously good. Devour puts flavor first to fulfill real craving. So go ahead and check them out.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We look forward to seeing you in the next event. Make sure to check out that Match Reno link one more time in the chat. Make sure you've submitted your code. AXCOM65 adds 50 cents to our prize pool. We look forward to bringing you more StarCraft 2 content in the future right here at Alpha X. My name is Rushy. You can find me at twitch.tv/RushySC. I am actually trying to get back into a little bit of StarCraft. I'm a teacher, and I'm finding myself with a little extra free time. So if you want to find me, you can catch me at twitch.tv/RushySC.
All right. And so everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the follows. We had a bunch of follows today. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. This is until next time, this is your friendly neighborhood puppy dog along with Rushi signing out.
Nuclear missile ready.